podcast down. Gentlemen, how are you guys?
Good.
All right, man. We got weeks here. Not murder week today. Interesting choice. We got G in the building and McFly. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I'm drinking. Definitely fucking drinking because oh man, this is some wild shit. We're gonna start off with brother Kanye.
Brother Kanye.
Brother Kanye. Okay. Compliment sandwich time. Okay. What was good about this interview he gave to Nori? You know, in many ways, Kanye is the epitome of black excellence, right? It's a black man, comes from humble beginnings. Not as humble as some, but humble enough to make a very successful career for himself. So I'm happy he can come out and talk his shit. The not so good things.
Everything else
is he legit maybe I don't know if it's meds. I don't know if it's just the overconfidence. Like he says so much just bullshit. And everyone just is like, yo, he's spitting facts right now. I don't know if I should be mad that he believes it or mad that others around him believe it. I don't know. Last positive thing I'll say, Nori can't interview worth shit at all, right? But something about Nori, he's very entertaining. Like as another guy who comes into this space of this media space after being the talent, now being the media component of it, right? He's entertaining, right? Like I don't find Button entertaining at all. Like I just don't. I think he can be, like I said, at times, but overall, I don't want to watch Joe Button. But like, I like Nori shit. It's a lot of yes men type shit. Like everything's make some noise or talk your shit or whatever. Give you your flowers. It's a lot of that shit, right? But it's entertaining. So like, shout out to Nori. I think he's doing great things in the space, so that's awesome. But that's my quick thoughts. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much of you guys saw. I found myself feeling disgusted watching some of this shit Kanye said, but what were your thoughts on it?
Kanye was all over the place.
That he was.
So you know how people will like go off on tangents. You know, they'll get asked a question, they'll start to answer it, then they go off on a tangent, but then they bring it back, right? Kanye goes off on a tangent and never comes back.
Nope. Not at all.
So, like the interview, like I don't get how people thought the interview was so genius and that he was dropping all these gems when he's literally just saying things that people have been saying for like over 100 years. Black people got to stick together. Okay, what's so profound by that? Like,
yo, I got you.
We gotta buy land.
No. What's crazy though is that it would say we gotta stick together, but then because like Kweli and Common didn't agree with his politics, he was like, "Yo, man, fuck them, man." Like,
right.
wait, I thought we were sticking together. What happened, my nigga? I don't
Kweli and John Legend and Big Sean.
And Big Sean.
Big Sean. Put on my tombstone. I deserve to be here because I signed Big Sean. Like,
oh my goodness.
Like he holds grudges forever, man.
Yeah, but it's just like, dude, like he was just, I couldn't understand just like the contradictions. There's so many contradictions, and his fans annoy me because they just flat out ignore it. I was like, oh, black people need to buy land. Kanye fans. Well, I've never heard any black person ever say that in life. That is genius. And really, why didn't I think of that? Like, that's Kanye fans. And then that's Kanye, and I think like Kanye, like, I don't think he knows it, but he knows it. That his fans will literally ride with anything that he says. Just like he was saying he's being very pro-black, but you side with Trump.
I mean,
Like he literally family ties are in the Klan.
the politics bothered me because he said a lot of right-wing talking points, and it's funny he said these things, and I think right closely follow either right before or after that he was talking about like, yo, read yourself to death, right? Be educated, right? Did you read up on the talking points that you're pushing? Because if you read up on them,
I
you'll
mean,
know that they're not true. So I'm confused. Like, it's just, how do you tell me, yo, half of all black people die because of abortion? Can you substantiate that shit anywhere? Oh, the chick that made Planned Parenthood was trying to exterminate black folks. That's literally been a myth that's been disproven if you read this shit. But I mean, go off, but like, how do you at the same breath say, yo, go read, man, get your knowledge up, but then you don't do it?
You don't do it.
It's insane to me. That's just insane.
he said he wasn't a good reader or a good counter.
Oh no. What he said? He said no. He fucking said, yo. He said, I'm not a good reader. He said, but like, what he says? What did he say? Something specific, and then he said, I speak the drums. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Not being a good reader and you were raised by an English teacher is wild to me.
Not being a good reader, period, is wild to me.
As an adult, you'd be like, I don't read books good. What?
Yeah.
How do you empower yourself if you can't read good?
Dyslexia or some learning.
Right. That's just a reason for it. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
he's saying a lot of crazy stuff, man. Like, I don't like want to make fun of any type of medical diagnosis, and I don't want to be the person that always says, yeah, something's wrong with him. But like, the man just can't stay on topic. He can't focus on anything. Like, he clearly has some stuff he wanted to say, and Nori was clearly trying to conduct an organized interview, and he's like in the middle of answering this question. Yeah, I don't like the babysitter. Huh? Like, what? What are we talking? I just asked you who's the better DJ, like Flex or you just told me you don't like that babysitter.
It's like, hey.
What was the shit he said? He was like, yo, so my son was doing his homework, and it was like, if you have 3 of this, it was 3 eggs plus 2 eggs. It was Auntie said 5 eggs. Boom. All right. Next question. He said it was like either 2 eggs minus 1 egg or 2 eggs plus 1 egg, but the picture was the same. It was a 3 plus a 2, and so his son got aggravated. He got frustrated, and he was just like, he started to cry. And I said, nah, son. I said, don't cry. She said, because I had to teach him, I had to prepare him. This is what life's gonna feel like when you get pulled over driving while black. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you really like? And I'm like, if that's the case, my goodness, I hope they with Kim most of the time. What nonsense are you talking? I'm just confused.
Yo,
you seem unhinged, and it's like he be going like y'all both have said it. He'll have one thought, it don't connect to the other thought, and this is why I hate that Nori did this interview. Although I like that we got to see a lot of Kanye just talking. He would say some shit, not make it relate back to the first thing he said, and then like Nori be like, yo, clap it up. I'm like, what the fuck are we clapping for? He didn't say anything.
Horn.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
He say nothing, man. He would do. I just don't get it, man. I don't get how people how they. Well, I get it. I'm not gonna pretend I don't get, like, people just don't like to follow, but like he says a lot of stuff that it's essentially people are calling him a genius because they don't understand him. Like, he'll say something about like, oh, I'm homeless. I went to talk to some monks, and I'm like, okay, first of all, what does that have to do with anything? Second of all, just because you did some Eastern something that you feel like is new to people that don't know about it over here doesn't automatically mean that it's deep in the right way to do. Now, I understand that culture has something that we can learn from it, But just because you went over there and you experienced for the first time doesn't mean that this is some life-changing thing that everybody needs to do.
And it ain't new. Like
Right.
that's the other thing. He acts like he discovered something.
Well, he acts like he discovered something. He acts like he's the greatest to ever do anything. I mean, he's liking himself to Moses. He said the verses would have to be 4 people to beat him because he can do this, this, and this. Like, I'm like,
And I have a hot take about that too.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if we gonna dump in there real quick, he gave some respect to Jay, saying he wouldn't go against Jay in the verses, whatever. He not beating Drake in the verses. I'll say it.
No.
Period. Point blank. He not beating Drake in the verses.
Because here's my hot take. Well, before I go into the hot take, I didn't like his shots at Just Blaze either.
Yo, fuck that. I did. Yo, facts.
Yeah.
Also, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Even
Right.
Jay came back and was
Considering
like,
the way
"That's not
he
fair
makes
to
music.
say." What do you mean?
Well, considering the way he makes music, I don't understand how he can say anything's original that he does.
Right.
Nothing
Everything-
like
Everything's a sample. Everything is literally not original. It's somebody else's.
and he's literally been accused of not only like people writing lyrics, people helping him with producing, people helping him with fashion. Like he takes a lot. He doesn't create a lot. So, that's the thing about Kanye is like like I said, that's why I always compared him to Quentin Tarantino. You don't know where he steals his stuff from, but he steals his stuff. But at least Tarantino will admit, like everything I've done, I've taken from somebody.
Kanye is
doesn't do
real open with that shit. He's like, I love
Right,
the blaxploitation era. That's why most of my shit is from that.
right. I'll see, right. And he'll see some foreign movie, like, oh, I will take that and put that in this. Like,
Mhm.
and that's what he does. Kanye does the same thing, except Kanye doesn't admit it. He tries to make it seem like he creates all this stuff and he's some type of genius, which is just mind-boggling to me. But here's my hot take. For one, Kanye, when he was asked about Busta Rhymes, he did hesitate to answer that for verses. 2, when you think about Kanye just as a producer and as an artist, and if he goes up with somebody over like a Jay or a Drake or even a Nas type stature, right? Or even a Busta Rhymes, how many guaranteed rounds does Kanye actually have?
Guaranteed rounds. I can't think of many guaranteed rounds. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm
I
gonna say,
like a lot of songs.
considering the guys you just mentioned, except maybe Nas.
All right.
He
we
has
can change
no
the topic.
he has, in my mind, he has no guaranteed rounds. But there's nothing I can point to and say, well, there's no counter for Jesus Walks. Yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
There's no counter for what? Good Life. There's no counter for what are we talking about?
He's gonna have to play the whole album of Watch the Throne.
Right, which is half a J. So that don't count. You can't play anything from Watch the Throne to beat Jay. I mean, most of those songs, I like Jay's verse more anyway. So,
right,
like, I don't.
So,
go ahead.
So that was like my hot take, because everybody's like, yo, Kanye, because as soon as he said, like, I don't know why he doesn't want to battle Jay, like his fans, like, he'll murder Jay. Will he really?
There's nobody that's picking Jay over. There's nobody that's picking Kanye over Jay, even if they like Kanye because they're afraid of Jay.
Yeah, but either way, it's like if they pick 20 and 20, Kanye's not beating Jay.
No. The fans of his that thinks he will are the fans of his that think his last 3 albums, including Donda, were fire. The rest of us would say they're mid at best. And that's where that argument dies, because we've done the whole how many classics does Jay have? I don't think there's an album that Jay's ever dropped that doesn't have at least one classic song on it. That's how fucking good Jay-Z is. Maybe Kingdom Come. That's the one album where it's like, all right, maybe you don't got a classic on there. That was one of the kind of off albums, but every album Jay got a classic. And the first 2 or 3 are like classic albums. So, I mean, not to mention features and all of that shit. Like, it's a spanking. It's an absolute fucking spanking.
Right.
He's not beating Jadakiss.
He's not.
I don't. Right. I agree to that. He's not beating Jada.
It's like,
Top
yeah,
five dead
Kanye
or
is over.
alive. Fuck yeah.
Even if you want to produce, even if he want to smoke with Just Blaze, I think Just Blaze
Just
20 and
Blaze
20.
is
I think Just Blaze was smoke Kanye.
Just Blaze is taking at least 16, 17 of them shits.
Like,
At least.
Just Blaze actually has guaranteed rounds, whereas like I don't care what you play, that round is winning.
You know what though? I'm gonna add one piece to this. What I don't like about Kanye, and this is proof that he's officially joined the right wing nut jobs. He literally based the fact that he's worth more, that he's better. That was literally got to be his argument. Well, I made more than him, so look at where I am, look where he is. Obviously, I'm better. And I hate that argument because that's something that like I think the culture has embraced. If you make more money than somebody else, that's a sign that you're better. I think we all recognize that's not necessarily the case. I mean, we talk about Eminem in this regard, right? He sold the most. Is that because he's the greatest, or is it because of the marketing? Because of him being more amenable in certain environments than maybe hardcore rappers are going to be perceived, right? There's other factors to that. I'll say Kanye. The one thing he's probably the greatest at is being a marketer. He does some shit people fucking care. I will give him that a 10 out of 10 times. He does some shit. People are excited. They want to know about it. That's how the buzz behind Yeezys exists. It's limited batches. It won them. And like, they're shitty looking sneakers. They're fucking awful. But he created a buzz and a marketing engine around it, which again, that Kardashian Jenner, look, they know how to create buzz around bullshit. I'm not surprised he got to hit 1 billion by fucking around with them. They know how to build that kind of shit. He must have picked up something while he was over there. That's fine. But like greatest rapper, greatest producer, no, bro.
It's crazy, and his
It's
fans
fucking
are crazy. Like I don't think they understand that a lot of his catalog and a lot of the music and a lot of things that he does is like is not as classic as they say. And you could tell just by the fact that when we actually really sit there and think about how many guaranteed rounds Kanye has, it's hard to think of it. like no matter what you play against, it's going to win. Maybe Devil in a red dress, but
yeah, it's weird though because I like a lot of Kanye songs. I'm not gonna lie, but
There's
I
some
would
good
never
music.
say they're not automatics
no.
at all.
He
They're
doesn't
background
have,
music to me.
he doesn't have songs. You know, this we talked about it before, RIP DMX, but like just Impact is one of those, the eye test. You just know it when you see it. The song comes on, you know, it reminds you of like a feeling or a time in your life, and it's like, oh man. Like that's why I thought Dipset would have did better, because Dipset has songs like when they drop, you're like, oh, this was my shit. Like nothing Kanye has in his catalog rises to the level of like the greatest alive right now rappers have in their catalog. Nothing he has is gonna make me feel as hype as like the best J shit, the best Nas shit, the best Busta shit, the best Jada
50?
shit, the best even like I say, I was even Nas. I'm like, nah, man, the best Nas shit,
He not beating 50.
right? The best
No,
50,
he wouldn't.
the best 50 is crushing him. Like it's just, you know when you feel it, you know when you see it, when you hear it, it's just like Kanye's good, but and some of his best shit has like Jay on it. It's like I don't know, bro. It's tougher, but again, being in that platform, and you could tell with his immediate circle is yes man. He never been told no in his life. Even with being around there with Nori and them, he just like, yo, man, like yo, make some noise. It's all love. It's never like one time. I think one time I recall during an interview, he said no on something that Kanye said. Is when he said, I think he said Common's a 20 times better rapper than Quali is. Right. And I was like, nigga, they about the same to me, to keep it a buck with you. I don't think Common's so much better than Quali, like period. But that's your preference, whatever. But that's the one time I saw Nori like Nah, I'm gonna disagree with you on that. Like he was like, I'm not going that far. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, I don't know if it's a
Yeah,
New York
but
bias or
it's
what, but
like
he's like, I ain't doing that.
but he's getting all like that because he didn't like that Quali's against his politics.
Which I mean, like,
Yeah.
he should
he
be.
ranted about quality reading for 15 minutes. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I ain't gotta read this. I only make 1-page contracts. Like what?
Right. What are you talking about, dude?
I don't know if y'all saw Breakfast Club. They did a snippet on this. I guess because he came at Charlemagne, whatever, how Charlemagne was like trying to act like Charlemagne was shucking and jiving, acting like he was best friends with Biden and shit. And so he responded back. And normally I don't really care because I feel like Charlemagne, he dish out a lot of shit, but when you come for him, he'd be like, I mean, what did I do, guy? So I don't always like that shit. But it was funny when they were like, he talks about, oh, you shouldn't be, so in line with these politicians, right? Like you shouldn't just, tip your hand to them too much, right? They showed the clip. Remember when Kanye went to go meet the president? I didn't
Yeah.
remember the audio of that shit. Yo, he went in there like, yo, man, I got a lot of flack for when this happened. I want everybody to know, like, man, like I love this man here, man. I love him. And then like he hugged him and shit. I was just like, yo, you really went in there and like did a whole just dance for this motherfucker. And you still on the whole, I'm still with the red hat shit. I'm just like, really? It's shit like that. I'm like, man, I couldn't deal, bro. I was like, okay. I forgot how bad it was just a few months ago, just a year or so ago. I forgot how bad it was. And he's like, yo, he really said, I love this man. Can I give you a hug? What? And he ain't did shit for you. Not a fucking thing. Well, maybe for you, maybe the tax breaks he gave you. I don't know. I'm not in that bracket to get the breaks, so I wouldn't know.
Right.
Oh man. Uh I
It's
I
just
don't know.
it's hard to watch him. It's hard to watch Nori let him say the things that he's saying without like asking him to prove it or asking him for like something substantial behind it. Because
Something.
like, and obviously I ain't saying no names, but like even in my regular life, there are people telling me how much of a genius he is, and I'm like, you're like third grade teacher was telling you this stuff. Like this
Right.
is something that people have been telling us, for the longest. This is something,
It's it's not new
somebody in your
shit.
family told you this.
Oh, 100. It's not new, and I just feel like we talk about it. We said it, we referenced it before. The clip from Malcolm when he's like in no other places, and like on the white culture, like, and like in their settings, they don't look at entertainers as leaders,
Right.
right? They don't pick the athlete as leaders. I think we're at a point now where we clearly see from that side because Trump went to Lil Wayne, he went to Kanye and others trying to get them. 50 talks about that they tried to pay 50 to show up initially to be on the Trump bandwagon. So they're showing you that they still look at it as these guys have power in the community. I mean, even Jay on the other side, Jay still looked at you ain't gonna have a Democrat nominee not talking to Jay-Z, trying to walk out to had a wife walk out to fucking something from Beyonce and hug him and shit. And they obviously are always trying to go to them. I think he shows the problem when you go to somebody who's not an expert in what they're talking about, who seemingly moves unhinged. Like, no, he don't speak for us. And we got to be in these interviews when he's talking all this dumb shit. Somebody has to be like, yeah,
But
no, that's just how he
but
feel.
how crazy this new era is. Like I actually saw on Twitter people saying that Kanye was more profound than Malcolm and Martin.
If I saw with you were following, or did I follow you?
No, it ended up on my timeline because
Oh,
somebody went at the dude that said it, but he was like standing on it.
yeah.
And it's like,
I hope people be trolling, man, because that shit sounds scary.
no, but I don't think the dude was trolling. Like he was like dead serious about it. And it's just like just this era, we all know, like the younger generation just doesn't think anything happened before they got here.
Nope. It's
So
if I have a dream, and that's maybe it, if that.
Right, if that. So it's like when they hear Kanye say some stuff that hundreds of other people have already said, but because they don't research it, they think it's like he's saying something new and profound and fresh, and like, why didn't we think of that? How come you like we need to rally? But like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I thought it was even funny that it's whatever you think about Lauren Hill, and he said he told her, "I'm the leader," and then she's like, "Nah, you're a leader,
right?
You lead something. You're not the leader." It's just interesting, man. It's interesting, and I respect the idea that maybe he's reaching people that need to hear this, but I don't think he's telling them or teaching them the right things because he's teaching them stuff that's kind of like, I don't think you fully understand it yourself to be trying to tell other people to jump on board with it. Like, I'm not saying he's not. I mean, he's obviously experienced things that I'll never experience just because of his fame and his money. But I mean, there's a little bit of common sense that comes in some of the stuff that you're saying, man. Like, you're living a lot. You're living a movie. Like, this isn't real. This isn't the real world, man. Like, you do whatever you want. You got all this money. Of course, you can say all these things and make all these things reality. You got the money to do it. The average person can't be like you, man. The average person,
right?
You need to speak.
Can't get up and buy the property,
right?
I mean, I remember when he first talked about the whole buying property. Just take, 100,000 and go buy land in like Wyoming.
You say,
who has that just laying around? The average person.
Who wants to live in Wyoming?
That's true. Also true. But like he said, shit like you talking about going and buying. The average person doesn't have $5K in savings. The average person doesn't have, white or black, doesn't have that.
Right.
Do you understand that? No, because you blew that today on fucking like a pair of shoes or some shit. Like it's different for you, bro.
On his haircut.
Cut by Edward Nigga Hands.
Yeah.
The name of the barber is Edward Nigga Hands because with all this money, you still got to be ignorant. Love it.
Right.
Love it, my guy. Yeah. Also, real quick, we got to talk about this. Just real quick nugget. We were fucking right. The Kim and Drake shit, we were fucking right. Yo, I'm just saying, when we get on, it's going to prove it. We call all this shit before it comes out. He was like, I know he didn't hit it, but he kept acting like he did hit it. And that made me mad.
Right. We were 100% correct. We told y'all that's exactly what was going on.
We was like, knowing Drake, he just saying shit like, you know what? Maybe I did though. And Kim probably mad about talking about this shit because because he said it. Like, oh my fucking. But this is what I'm talking about.
He's putting it in his raps.
Got real estate, man. He got mansions in this dude head, man.
He got all he got the amount of property he told us to go buy.
Right, I was about to say that property in Wyoming is Drake.
The amount of times they were trying to move on, and he just kept going about Drake and how much he tried to act like. I mean, I guess they cool. I mean, I guess he likes him. I guess he respects him, but I don't know, man.
it feels like Kanye's fake. Because when he said this shit about Big Sean, about how Kim's the worst thing I ever did, whatever, Big Sean immediately was on social like, bro, I was just with him like not too long ago. He ain't saying none of this shit. And we find out that he owed his motherfucking money and won't release his masters, even though he said he would. So I'm like, so who's really the asshole? Like, what are you talking? Right. So he didn't agree with your politics, which sounded half baked, which they fucking are. What are you talking about?
Big Soldier said the same thing.
Right.
Even though Big Soldier was a little high when he did his rant.
Soldier was a lot high. Soldier was high.
You told me my verse was hard, nigga. Like just because your album, you can't tell people what's hard on your album. Like you can't pick what's hard on your album. Like, what are you talking? That you literally said just because it's your album, you can't pick what's on it.
You can't tell what me's gonna be on it. That shit is funny. Oh man, that shit.
I fully support Big Soldier.